Good evening, everybody, and welcome to yet another Photography Locked Down live feedback session. Oh, I've got sound coming out of the other. What's it? I need to stop that straight away. Sorry about that, guys. You know what I'm like with the tech. Good evening, and welcome to all you lovely people. I'm amazed how many of you were here already waiting. So if you have just arrived and you're thinking, what on earth is a Photography Locked Down live? It is Photography Locked Down is a series of weekly creative tutorials and challenges followed by a live feedback critique session here on YouTube, of which this is one. I will put a link up above later on. You can click that if you're watching the replay. Come find out all about it. So guys, all you regulars, lovely to see you as always. So very exciting. Where are you all from? Look, all over the world. So good to see you. Such lovely folks. So this is, or should have been, the very last Photography Locked Down. And of course, now there is going to be a new look, new session. So this is week 12 of the original 12-week challenge, and it is going to be moving forward now, thanks to you guys. I want to say a huge shout out and a massive thank you to everyone who's found it valuable and have made some donations already to help it move into the future. It's absolutely fantastic. I completely appreciate every one of you. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and especially you guys. Shout out to you for making some donations. We're on the right track. Right, what else am I going to say? What else has been talked about? I saw a thing in the group chat this afternoon, long conversation about merchandising, t-shirts, buttons, bags, things like that. Yeah, it's something I've thought about for a while with Emmeline, and we'll give it a little bit more thought, but we may put a poll onto the page, and then if you think, yeah, I'd be up for doing something like that, well, if enough of you are up for it, we'll look into it, see what we can come up with. What else? Oh yes, I think that's it. I think I've done all my little announcements, so I probably ought to get on with it, because this was a very interesting week. Mad world, PLD bonkers. And some of you really did go bonkers, and some of you went crazy, and some of you went right out the box. It has been a really interesting week to see what you guys would come up with. So this week was pretty much about looking at a familiar surrounding, somewhere you know well, in a completely unique and different way, looking at things in a slightly bonkers way. Forgive me, I'm sorting out my shot because I started talking instead of paying attention. That's better. Right. So, I think without further ado, shall we get straight into the pictures? I think I should. I forgot to say, how are you all? I can see you're all saying hello from everywhere. I hope you've had a great week. Anyway, let's get straight into the pictures. And once again, I've forgotten to put my other thing on the side here because I can't see who this is from. Let me see if I can enlarge it. Here we go, Jane. Jane Brinston. I just wanted to say a couple of things. Jane, I hope you don't mind me using one of your pictures as an example. It's a really beautiful picture. However, I know one of two of you were kind of struggling with the concept of mad, you've created a mad and beautiful picture, but it was kind of more about, laying on the floor, crawling under the bed. What's under the bed? Could I make a picture of it? What's in the corner of the cupboard and all the rest of it? And you have, Jane, created a really lovely picture, and I hope you don't mind me picking it up and just sort of saying, beautiful picture. What we're really looking for on this one was a very mad view. And I know I'm pretty lax on things, so please forgive me. But beautiful picture. There's a lot of things in my shortlist shout-outs this week, because there were so many, as usual, that I thought was so good, and I struggled to choose winners. I really like this one, Bob. Controversial, but I just thought it was funny. I just had to give you a little shout out here. What I really like is the way the little robot boy and girl are sort of holding hands, and running off together. I just thought it was really rather sweet, and I needed to give you a shout out in case no one had seen it. Right, so now into the pictures. Hal, I really like this. Now, it's not a bonkers angle or a bonkers viewpoint on, a familiar area within your home maybe, But I just really, really loved it. And it is a bonkers portrait. It's also very, very beautifully lit. it's really well put together for something you've done in your own home, because you know this week it was still under the lockdown rules of home and garden. There were some great entries, by the way, from people, but I wasn't sure if they were from their homes, and I did question one or two. How great shot, beautifully executed. However, this may be a bit of a familiar theme. I can't help but feel it's underexposed. Guys, you've got to get your head around these things, because you're doing some really creative things. Just some of those nuts and bolts of how to control your camera, how to manage your exposure. It makes a world of difference. Great shot, and I took the liberty. What do you think, guys? So this is the original, and I also just did a little brightened up version. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you think it helps it to be a little bit brighter? Oh, I see. Are you getting a few problems? Yes, I've noticed my stream feed warning flickers sometimes. I don't know why. There's supposedly a 14 megabyte upload speed here. Sorry, guys. One of those things I can't control. Anyway, what do you think? Brighter? Does it help? You knew I'd say it was underexposed, Jill. How funny. This is why it's important to understand. Because I'm guessing, I mean, it's a beautiful black and white shot, but I'm guessing if you had a white wall and you've got your model wearing a white shirt and you've got a pale coloured lampshade, what's happening? Your camera is seeing all that white, all that pale, but the camera doesn't know it's meant to be white. And the way a camera it works out exposure is it makes everything grey, which in the majority of average cases is absolutely fine and does a stunning job. But when you go away from average, so maybe you've got a white shirt, bright white highlights, a white wall behind, the camera will see it and go, whoa, and it will make it underexposed. This is why it's really, really important to learn what the camera does, how it works, and how to make a manual exposure, so you know when to completely ignore what the camera's saying and go your own way. So here we go, the original and the brighter. I'm just going to change this so that when it cuts to pitch, it'll cut to pitch instead of fading, so I think it's better. Maybe more contrast in general, says Manuela. Maybe. But I mean, you know, all I did was increase the exposure. I took the contrast an eeny hint, I have to confess, but not very much. I just feel it gives it a little bit more life, Hal. It makes the most of that beautiful, gorgeous, fabulous light that you are using there, and it is a bonkers portrait, and I love it. There's another one here, Craig. I'm not going to go on about exposure this week because I did that last week, but I can't help it. I do need to help you guys to understand. You need to know how to use those nuts and bolts of your camera. There's only a handful of things you need to know, but you do need to know how to use those nuts and bolts, because then you can do what we're doing here. You can make your creative ideas come to life and be vibrant and exciting. Craig, I really like this. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I like your use of space. I like the dark negative space. I like the shadows and the lines and the shapes. Now this is not quite as much, but just watch, guys. I'm just going to brighten this one, and it's a very subtle brightening. I hope it comes out in this live broadcast. What do you think? Yeah, all I've done is just help those highlights. I'm just going to flick between them a bit while you have a look. What do you think? Do you think it makes a slight difference or not? Let's go back to the bright one. And we're only talking a tiny bit, but I truly think it made a slight difference to the highlights. It's your printer from below. Awesome, Craig. I love that. I love that. Great thinking. And it's the light, though. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. It's the fact you saw these shadows and shapes and lines, and I just think it's great. But I just think just a hint more exposure. It didn't need much. Sometimes it's a very subtle change that can make a big difference to the impact. But great shot. Great shot. I hope you don't mind me picking you up on that one there. I also like this one, Matthew. What is it? Intentional camera movement shot. I can't remember what was it. I did read it after I picked it, but I liked it because I thought it is kind of mad, and there's something, I don't know, what does it remind you of, guys? To me, there's something warm. There's something coming from the heart in this, which I really, really liked, which is a great abstract. I just felt there might be a tiny bit too much of the camera movement. I think it may have worked slightly better if there was a little bit less, but I am being picky. I am being picky here. What do we got? Brighter, better. Oh, we're still talking about the brighter, better. Lava, sort of, says Tanweer, about this one. Reminds you of lava. I get a really warm, heartfelt feeling out of this. I just feel there's maybe a touch too much of the camera movement. But great shot, nonetheless. Shine Babu. This is kind of bonkers, and there's things about this I like, and there's things about it that I'm not sure about. I'm guessing, I don't know, but I'm thinking this was probably taken on its side and you put something on the floor and then you turn the picture up the other way. So the chair is leaning against, it's got its feet against the wall, laying on its back. I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe you made it in Photoshop, I'm not sure. But that leads me to the bit which I'm not sure about, because you see there's a halo around the laptop and all the rest of it. It's where you've been doing some brush work or some darkening in post-production, which I don't have a problem with. But you need to be really careful when you do it, because the halo makes it look a bit unnatural and it looks a little bit as though it's been over sharpened. But I kind of like it because it is a bonkers idea and a bonkers viewpoint on some everyday objects. I really did like it. We've got another really great bonkers thing going on here from Annbeth Swain. It is a really great little bonkers shot of your dog, Bailey, who may be bonkers, and I do like it. There's things about this that work really well, because I think you've used quite a wide angle lens. Maybe you did it with a phone, I don't know. But it is quite a wide angle shot, and that helps draw his muzzle forward, which is a bit of a bonkers look. My main thing, and I don't mind the fact the depth of field is really shallow and it's just on the nose, that sort of fits the bonkers theme. But I wish we had a little bit more room above and below, just a little bit more space around Bailey where it's cutting off his lower lip. And no, never work with animals because it is so tricky, because you get just the right moment and then they move. Little tip actually, if you want to do shots like this, guys, try and give them more space. Almost have too much space, because you can always remove a bit if you've got too much, but if you haven't got quite enough, you're stuck with it and you end up with something like this. But a great idea, Anne. Nice light, really pin sharp on the nose, great expression on Bailey's face. I just like to see just a little more move, a little more room, just so his lip wasn't cut off and his eyebrow wasn't cut off. But really great. Moose is saying, I think it works as it is. Great, fair comment. It does work. I'm not saying it's a bad photo. Please don't think that at all. And yes, he is indeed smiling. You know, guys, always feel free, put in what you think, because this seems to be working better doing it this way than doing that long Q&A at the end. I will hang around for a bit of Q&A at the end, but, you know, by all means, put in some comments. I am watching them on my other screen here. Another, I think, really quite interesting shot here, Denise. I really liked it because this really is a bonkers angle. You've got right down low on the floor to shoot this. And I do like it. And the problem I'm having is that black line coming out of his head. It's really rather nice. I like the eye shine, I like the bonkers angle, and I quite like there's a bit of colour. What's it going on? White balance, cross curves, where we got the blueness in those windows from daylight and a different colour balance inside. But that very, very hard line, I'm not sure. What do you think, guys? Do you think the hard line adds to the feeling of bonkers, or do you think it detracts from it? I'm very, very interested to see what you thought. Forgive me if I'm a bit waffly. I've been on a pick and shovel most of the afternoon, helping a friend of mine dig a drainage ditch down through the back of his garden. I like it. Line detracts. You know, and there will be split opinions, because this is the whole point of what we're doing here, isn't it? In creativity, there isn't really a right or a wrong. There's just what we like. And the reason I ask these questions is so you guys can see all these different opinions, because they're just opinions, they're just what we like. It's not a rule. It doesn't mean it's something that needs to be fought over or worried about overly. The line leads you to his head, says Philida. Okay, yeah. Get it. Get it. send my eyes down the line, not focused on the dog. Okay, yeah, line continues to shadow. Gotcha. Just check, make sure everything's working properly. Yes, it is. Good. Moving on to the next one. I really like this idea from Torrey Hunter. There's some really great shots in here, guys, and I am trying to talk about all of them, and I can't. I really like this idea, Torrey. You put so much work into that, and I'm quite intrigued as to how you shot it. Did you dig an enormous great big hole and fit a DSLR in there? Is it a phone on a self-timer? Is it a GoPro? How did you do it? I think it's a great idea. It's a bonkers point of view. I totally get it, and I'm being picky now because I'm going to say if you could have found some way to get a tiny bit of light inside that hole, so it's just a hint of the pebbly graveliness going up around the edges, I think it would have added even more to it. But such a great idea. I am quite intrigued as to what it is and how you did it. But as you said in your comments, it drove you bonkers. Just a bit of light inside the hole, I think. Wayne, I really like this one. Oh, so there's a lot I like here because you did go bonkers, because I don't really know what it is, and I do like that shape and the line, and I like those. There's so many great little highlights. I just find that one big highlight is just a little bit too much. If you could have found a way just to tone it down a bit, not remove it, because it does bring something to the shot. But if it could have been toned down a bit, whether you used a torch or something to put that there, you know, a light source, if you moved it further away, it maybe wouldn't have been quite so strong. Bit of tracing paper, put it through a white t-shirt, piece of muslin cloth, something like that. It might have helped. But I do really love, I just saw Jenny just said the sinuous shape. That is so cool. Really like the way you've composed it. I like that hard angle and the way you've been brave and chucked it on a slight corner and made these sort of shapes, and the way the light's catching whatever it is on the right. Looks like the back of a book or something. I don't know. Great idea, but that bright highlight, to me, it's just a bit too bright. And just being able to soften it a bit might have helped. Denise Warren, I liked this idea as well, because it's made me think quite hard, because I thought, what is it? As you know, I don't read comments and things. I look at the picture. I might read them afterwards, but I look at the picture. I just thought, what is this? What is this? It's the top of a lamp. And you've got such beautiful light hitting onto it. I love that highlight on the side. It's just the right amount. That blue against the black with the slightly yellowy tungsten light coming up through from inside. It works really, really well. And I'm being really, really picky here, Denise. I'm being really picky. You see the bottom row of dots, the ones that come further down round that globe shape. I'm just thinking, I'm being picky, just line them up. They're kind of slightly off to the left. Let's just bring them to the right, just a tiny little bit more. But really, really great. I love the way you've done that. Awesome. Sharon Grigg, I think this was such fun. You know, you were dropping food colouring into water and things. And you've got some gorgeous shapes going on here. You really have. I don't know what you did it in. Laying upside down, climbing up ladders, you did all sorts of things. It's such a clever, beautiful, superb shot. Now, I'm shouting out some of you guys that often don't get shout outs here because, as you know, I try and pick on images that will benefit the most people, and a lot of great images don't get much attention, so I'm purposely trying to help a little bit in that area this week. I think if you could have managed to get a little more light coming from behind, it would have been absolutely extraordinary. If you could have got a little bit of light from behind, I don't know what you did it in, water and food colouring, I'm not sure how you did it, but if whatever your container is, you could have brought that away from a wall or something, maybe closer to a window. If you could have found a way to get a bit of light just to come through that food colouring a little more, I think it would have absolutely brought it to life. It's great anyway, but with that little bit of backlight, it would have been amazing. Yeah, I see mushrooms too, Jenny. I see mushrooms too. But such a great shot. You're very, very welcome, Denise. You're very welcome. And I hope you didn't think I was being too harsh. I'm picking on some of you guys that are a bit further down the line. They're a bit more advanced, that are producing some good stuff this time. I'm not ignoring you guys that are at the beginning. I'm just giving the others a bit of stick. Steve Stone, this is another one. What a great idea. What a great bonkers shot, you know. And what I really like is the oval and those lines, those highlights on the wall. The way it's put together is great. I just think it is really nice. I feel it's another one that could have done with just a hint more exposure. And I know you're probably thinking, I know what you'll say, I've burnt out the wall. Sometimes burnout works. It depends how much there is. These are very subtle things in creative stuff. But I do like it. Again, I think maybe a tiny bit more space above and below the mirror would have helped, and possibly just a little hint more exposure. But it's a really great thing, well spotted, a different way of looking at your room and combining it with those highlights on the wall that are already there. I do like it. I do like it. David Swainson, another beautiful picture. Really beautiful. This is a classically beautiful shot, you know, of a fungus, and it is very, very well done. You've got some nice light on it. In this case, I think, looking at my screen, it could be just a hint darker, actually, just to be perverse. But again, you can't control what other people are seeing because it's about monitor calibration. If every monitor in the world was calibrated, then it would be okay, but it ain't going to happen, ever. So, you know, maybe on your screen it is that hint darker. Beautiful shot. Very classical. I think to have brought a bit more bonkers to it, it would have been very interesting to see how this looked. If you could have got underneath it somehow. This is a place where mobile phones actually come into their own because the cameras on them are really great at the moment. And because they're so thin, you can slide a mobile phone underneath something. My Pulitzer Award-winning photojournalist friend Estra Suarez, you know, he's shown me so many little things he does with phones. You know, he's shooting big league stuff and for publications all over the world. He showed me a few really cool things he does with his phone, and it is about appropriateness. You know, you couldn't get under there with a digital SLR with a lens, could you? I get it, you couldn't do it, but it might be worth a punt. Maybe you tried it. Forgive me if I'm being harsh. It is nonetheless a very classically beautiful shot of a fungus, no question. What else have we got here? Now this one is bonkers. I'm being really hard on you guys that are good at it, aren't I? Ken Hanman. This one is bonkers. I guess, I don't know what you're looking down. Have I read it? I haven't read it. Maybe we will. Doesn't really say. Maybe you explained it later and I picked this up earlier in the week, you know, when nobody had a chance to comment much, but it's powerful. The way the light's coming down this, is it a cardboard tube you've looked down through? I don't know how you've got those little points of light on the ends of, I don't know what they are. Tapers for lighting a fire? Is it a little paper tube? Ken, if you're watching, I'd love you just to say a little bit about it. I want to know how you got those little points of light. I think it's really engaging and really interesting. I think if the blue in the background had been a little brighter, like I said, I'm giving you guys that are good at it some stick this week, as opposed to the guys that are struggling with apertures and shutters and things. I think if that blue could have been just a little bit brighter, it would have worked even better. I like the dark yellow, the tungsten light from the yellow, which I guess is coming from those points of light. I'm just looking to see if you're watching, whether or not you had a chance. But it's a really great shot, really great shot. I think if the blue was a little brighter, maybe if the light continued down the tube, maybe the whole thing was a bit brighter. Maybe I've just got a thing about bright pictures, which I kind of have. This is a bright picture, Gordon Melrose. It is bonkers and it is fun. And actually, I think it's in the wrong place. I should have had it in my shortlist shout-outs because it is fun and it is bonkers. I don't know what to say. Does it need improving? There's things I like about this, such as the way you've been brave and you have cut off the edge of the kettle and it works. I know I've said earlier, oh, I don't like the way the dog's lips cut off and things like that. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's a personal opinion, of course. It's a completely personal opinion. Yeah, okay, I've just had a message from Shine about the picture with the chair and the laptop. Yeah, so the chair was on the floor and then the photograph turned. Such a good idea. Back to Gordon, sorry. The comment would have disappeared. Really well executed, really interesting. I don't know whether you did this with Photoshop or whether you literally, whether you did it dropping pens, but it's still a really interesting image. I don't know how you could have improved it. Apologies, it should have been in the shortlist shoutouts and I put it in the wrong place. Now, Russell, you've got some quite good ingredients here. And I would love to try and help you make a little bit more out of it, because these sorts of modern looking taps can be quite interesting. You've got reflective taps, you've got those lights on the ceiling and the way the light is hitting the tiles, you know, the tiling on the left in the bathroom or whatever. But it's like, clean the taps. Clean them. You've got all those watermarks and soapy bits on there. If you kind of clean them up and got them really nice and clean and shiny, I don't know what that blue is underneath, but I think that could have really helped. You would have had whatever that blue is reflecting and looking quite interesting. If you could have got the camera a little bit more level, so it's a bit more, you know, graphic, if you like. It's all a bit wonky. But you're on the right track. It's a great creative idea, Russell. But clean up the taps, try and get the camera a bit more level. And I don't know, I think had you explored it some more, I think there are lots of possibilities in here. There's also a reflection on the tap on the left, you know. I don't know what it is. Is it a shower pipe or something? A reflection of that weird shape there. Really interesting. I think it's got tons of potential. Absolute congratulations for getting in there and having a go at that. But it's little things like give the tap a really good clean, make sure there's no soap scum, make sure all the lime scale marks have gone, and then you can really start to work with it. But great thinking, great thinking. Another one from Alex here, some great thinking here. Because originally I thought, what is it? I'm missing something. I don't get it. I get somebody's got something. Why are they putting something in a tube? And then afterwards, when I read it, that you'd cut the bottom off an ice cream cone, and then you've got somebody putting a scoop of ice cream coming up with it. This is another really great idea. And I think the reason I missed entirely what it was is because the ice cream is mostly melted. And I didn't know it was ice cream. Also, it's an ice cream or something with something in it. And that's what was confusing me. Had it been a nice clean scoop, you know, like curled up scoop into that ice cream scoop, that would have then made the connection, in my head at least, this is ice cream and I'm looking up through an ice cream cone at somebody about to, you know, and also if it wasn't so sloppy and half melted, she could have held the scoop, you know, at the right angle. So you'd be sort of watching this metal scoop coming down into the ice cream cone. Such a brilliant idea, so much potential. But I think I didn't realize it was an ice cream cone because I didn't recognize the substance in the ice cream scoop as being ice cream. What do you think, guys? Please tell me what you think. Do you think I'm on the right track with this or not? It's such a clever, creative idea. But do you think it might have helped if the ice cream was really clearly ice cream? Did anyone else not know it was ice cream? Did I miss something? I do that a lot. Someone said rice pudding, Ben & Jerry's choc chip, instantly recognisable. Sorry, Trish. Because you see, I don't eat ice cream. I know I'm a weirdo. I will occasionally eat ice cream and stuff, but I don't often eat stuff like that. But yeah, maybe a little less bitty ice cream from Sue. Yeah, I think so. I don't mind the dipper. To me, it was the ice cream. I was thinking, what is it? Is that a label of stew or something? What is it? Is it paper mache going into a tube? I wasn't sure. Very often, the simplest sort of ice cream, you know, it sort of flakes, it sort of layers, doesn't it? If it's just the right texture, it's a plain ice cream without bits in it. It sort of, I don't know, has its own sort of texture and shape. But anyway, great creative thinking. I am very, very impressed with that. Talking of creative thinking, Ian Davidson. What a fabulous idea. Now this is just utterly bonkers, isn't it? Just, what a wonderful idea. Get your daughter to stick her face in a fish tank of water with the washing up and the little brush there. I just think it is such fun. Such a great idea. Totally, completely, utterly off the scale, bonkers. It really, really is. So, because it's so great, I've got to give you some quite harsh criticism here. Couple of things. I don't know how many times you made your long-suffering and definitely up for it daughter stick her face in that bowl of water. And I don't know if you had, detergent in it, because I like the way there's bubbles on the top. So I think she is a rock star. Please give her a high five from me if you did, if she's sticking her face in soapy washing up water. It's just so cool. But, here's my but. Her expression is one of the things. I get it. It's like, okay, I'm putting my face in the water, but what we're getting is face in the water. I wonder if she could have created an expression that's sort of like, doing the washing up again, or I like doing the washing up, or I'm tidying up, or hey, isn't this fun? I don't know. It's a dad's made me put my face in the water sort of a look. Forgive me, I'm being harsh. I know. You deserve harsh because it's a really great idea. And once again, guys, I'm going to talk about exposure because what do you think of this? I really want to know. What do you think of this? Ian's original, I brightened it. Do you think it needed a little bit more light? Because I just think a little bit more light, just what are we, half a stop maybe, a tiny bit brighter, just brings it to life so much more. What do you think, guys? I really would like to know. Barry prefers the original darker. Ken saying maybe half a stop. She's holding her breath. I know she's holding her breath, Bear Clive. There's no excuse for not doing as you're told when you're being a model, though. I mean it, though. Give her a high five from me. That was really game on both of your parts, I think. On both of your parts. That was great. Like the brightness enforcer. Yes, possibly true. I just feel it just helps it to be just that touch brighter. It helps the fun aspect of the picture. Bright is fun. Darker shots are sort of moody, gloomy, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm right. But great effort on both your parts. I thought this was a really great effort and worthy of a mention. I'm not sure what it needs, Jolla, whether it needs something, because it's an extraordinarily graphic shape of such an ordinary everyday thing, and I do like it. I like the way you've positioned the door and it's bisecting the diamonds. Is that by mistake? Did you do it on purpose? But it's pretty good. I think had you brought it back towards, the bottom of the picture a fraction, so it was absolutely perfectly on the cross of those tiles, it would have helped. Being picky because it's such a great idea. The way you've composed it, I think, is absolutely fab. I'll tell you a model story in a minute, Jez, my sister. If I remember, I'll try and remember. I think the way you've composed it is brilliant. I love the way we got the doorknobs and that line and the crosses on the floor. Really great. If you could have got the gaps top and bottom absolutely the same, I think it would have helped. I think if the door was just over that cross perfectly, it would have helped a bit more. But nonetheless, I think it is a really great job. Finally, I'm wondering, could you have got a little bit of light coming across the floor towards that edge of the door? I don't know, touch more space and a little bit of light coming towards it, so there was a little bit of a line of light on the floor. I'm being so mega picky, Jola. Don't think I'm saying it's a bad picture. I am so not. I am giving you guys that produce really great stuff that I usually don't talk about a little bit of a push this time. I'm being your coach. I'd be a rubbish coach if I sat on the treadmill eating donuts with you, wouldn't I? So I'm pushing you because you're good. You guys can push it that little bit further. It was on the cross at the bottom. It would have thrown out the black lines. Not entirely sure there. Lenny. I just think it just needed to come half a centimetre towards the bottom of the shot, that's all. Anyway, moving on, great idea, another great bit of bathroom idea here, Diane Harper. Because again, I think you had a lot of potential here, and I think it could have gone a little bit further. I love how you have gone into an everyday place, and you have got your head up against under the shower. You go, what does it look like from here? I wonder, oh yeah, that's kind of weird, isn't it? And I mean it, congratulations, good on you for doing that. I just think there's maybe just slightly too much happening. I'm wondering if you could have maybe just zoomed your lens a bit. You don't need a macro, but maybe if you zoomed it a bit, is there something in the textures of the pipe, and particularly the shower head? I like the little squirts, the little jets of water coming through. And also looking towards the bottom left corner, is that a rubber duck or a thing of shampoo or something? But it's telling me, because of the light on the edge, that there's a light source somewhere. You know, maybe a window, maybe there's one of those things coming through, and it could backlight the water. I can't help thinking, maybe had you managed to get a little closer onto the shower head at a bit of an angle. But absolutely congratulations, Diane, on thinking outside the box, looking at something in a very, very bonkers, mad way. Absolutely great. Well done. And mad... Oh, I love this. Lisa. Isn't that such fun? Isn't that fun? Taking a shot of your chicken from that angle, from your head. So cool. And I looked at it for a while thinking, how on earth has she done that? And then I read how you'd done it. Absolutely marvellous. And I'm picking on you again because it is such a great shot. I'm picking on you because those bright highlight clouds in the background are taking me away from that fantastic expression on the chicken's face. But it is so good. It is such fun, this shot. How could you have fixed that? There are various ways. Possibly if you were shooting raw, you may have pulled it down. I don't know. It may have been too difficult. Realizing you put the puffed rice or whatever it is onto a sheet of glass and put the camera under the glass, so you're looking up and then waiting for one of the hens to come and have a look and a peck, and it's such good fun. Such good fun. Maybe a sheet of white card or something like that underneath as well. It might have reflected light back up onto the chicken a little more, so the gap in exposure wouldn't be quite so much, and then those clouds wouldn't have burnt out. And it's such a shame, because I just kept coming back to this and thinking, I so want it to be higher up, and I can't, because it's just, the shadow is very, very dark on the chicken's breast. The highlights are very bright, and they're taking us away from it. Such a great, great, bonkers idea. So cool. Well done. Awesome. What more can I say? It's so good. I like this one too, Mike. I like it because you're looking around your home in a bonkers way again. You're lying on the floor, aren't you? And I really like it. I like the fact that the light is on. I can't help wondering, would it have worked better if the room was a little darker, so that we get more of those shadows and things going on? And again, just a little touch of more care with the composition, so the gaps all around are the same. I don't know what it is with the little dangly crystal bit on the sort of, what am I going to call it, petal part. There's something, and it's kind of hanging, and it's almost touching the bottom of the frame. Maybe a little more space, but I can see you've worked pretty hard to try and get central on the middle of it. I think had the room been a bit darker, so the light itself was creating and making a bit more of the shadows, it may have just lifted it that bit further. But it is really cool. I'm just having a look here. Ed has just said, this is my biggest struggle. The imagination in the images this week is awesome. I've contorted myself into so many different positions trying to find a shot in my truck, but I'm not seeing anything. Ed, you're the guy who's a trucker, aren't you? And said, am I allowed to use my, sleeper cab? Good on you, mate. Good on you for giving it a go. That's all I can say. Good on you for giving it a go. Shame you didn't find something, but hey, there you go. It's usually light in a situation like this. It's usually light. Sometimes just the way the light is coming around. I used to drive trucks once upon a time. I drove some big fridge articulated units for a short time, and then I spent most of my time in construction driving tippers in the mud because I like mud. But sometimes when you're sitting there and you've got various different things, within the cab, you might get the light at a certain angle, just sort of coming around the steering wheel, or touching on an indicator stalk, or I don't know, something, air brake, whatever. I don't know. Keep looking when you're on the road. Keep looking. Yeah, hang in there, buddy, said Moose, and I agree, Wayne. Good on you. Janet Cooper. I thought this was very bonkers. And it is really cool. You've got some really interesting light. I'm not entirely sure what it is. What am I looking at? I did my best to photograph a small stone posed. I'm not going to try and read it. I read too slowly. Sorry, guys. I'm hopeless at reading and stuff. But I really like the shot. I'm not sure what it is. I like the brightness, and you've kind of reversed things. So as opposed to the eye going to the brightest part, because most of it's bright, you're making us go to the darkest part with that little hint of brightness in the middle. I can't help but think if you could have had just a hint more on that little diamond bit. Again, I'm being picky, Janet, because, it's a great idea. The only other thing is the symmetry of it. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Because I'm torn here. Question. Torn. If that circular piece in the middle was in the middle of the frame, do you think it would have improved the shot, or is it better where it is? Because I'm torn with this. I looked at it a long time, thought, would it be better? Wouldn't it be better? But I'd run out of time to put it in Photoshop and play with it, and But what do you think, guys? Would it be better with the circle in the middle? So it's very, very kind of graphically uniform, or do you like it as it is, sort of slightly off center, a little bit edgy, a little bit, disrupting the symmetry? It's just interesting, because I can't make up my mind which I prefer, and that's why I picked this up, because I thought it'd be interesting to throw it out to you guys. Diane's saying on a lower third. I'm not so sure it would work on a lower third. I think it would look a little bit too contrived. I like the way it is near the center. I like the fact it's off center, but I can't help but thinking, would it work if it was more center? I don't know what it is with this. There's something it needs, and I'm not sure what it is, and I'm just being honest with you, because I don't have all the answers. But yeah, thank you, guys. Interesting to see your thoughts, and thank you, Janet. It's a really great idea. I can't go without talking about this. Linda, you're scaring me. It's so funny. It's just so funny. I really like it. How did you do that? It looks like AstroTurf or something. I don't know. Have you made something and got him to stick his head through it, and you put something around him? Have you photoshopped it? If you did Photoshop it, looking around the bottom there, you did it very, very well. It's just such fun and bonkers. What can I say? I'm sorry it didn't go further, but it didn't. There's just others I just felt more drawn to. But thank you for giving us all such a really great laugh. I love it. I love it. And I love the work and the effort that you put into creating it. What have we got? Linda saying, it is AstroTurf. Oof, get in, Browne. I recognised it. That is just so cool, Linda. Very disturbing. It's great. I hope you manage to grow the rest of him soon. Anyway, moving on. Nick Humphrey, I like this. I like this is the opposite of many times when I've said the shot's too busy. This is incredibly busy, and yet it works. I feel it needs a little bit of help. I love your creative thinking in going completely #bonkers, because you kind of shot up underneath in, I guess it's multi-layered glass shelf or something, and looking up underneath at all those shapes, and it's making them sort of fly in the air. And I really like it. And this is a great example of, yes, you can break all the rules. Because You know, we've been saying so often that one's too busy, but busy works. There aren't any rules. And I know this is so hard to get your head around if you're someone who's beginning with this and you're thinking, well, hang on, should it be quiet or should it be noisy or should it be busy or not busy? There isn't a should. Words like should and could and ought don't really belong in it. Sometimes these things work and sometimes they don't work. Do you remember Tom Mackey back on week 2 or 3 when he came on as a guest judge and he was showing that beautiful picture of the curly twisty tree? Wish I'd put it in here to show you. You know, it's a wonderful landscape of this curly twisty tree and this blue ocean and the blue sky and the little white clouds going on. You know, it's a landscape shot. He's a landscape photographer. Everybody says morning and evening for landscape, yet that shot's taken at midday with the sun directly overhead, and it works. He told everybody, I went back in the morning, in the evening, at different times of the day to see what it would look like. The one at midday works. Rules are there to be broken, and sometimes it works, but not always. So a bit of constructive for you here, Nick. I really like it. The fact that you've got that square shape in the middle, that draws attention, and that is why it works, I think, because you've got all those circles and then that square. And the square is repeated in the very top, and it's repeated in the oblongs up the side. We've got circles and squares and circles and squares, and that sort of line coming up through. Great. I think it would have worked better with a little bit more contrast, maybe a little bit brighter and a little bit more contrast. It's a little bit flat. And the other thing which just slightly bugs me is that it's just slightly like that. And if you could have just got it just square, perfectly sort of lined up and square. It's a difficult thing to do, very difficult thing to do. Particularly if you're shooting with the camera on its back, you can't see in the LCD, you can't see in the viewfinder. I don't know how you did it. Phones are good for this sort of thing because you can flip it on the camera and you can see the shot in the top as you're lining it up. I think if it was just a little bit more uniform, graphic, and had it got a bit more contrast, that's about it. But such a great effort, such a great effort. Now I wanted to put it alongside this one of yours, Tony, because again, you've got a bonkers view of something that's bonkers busy, and we've got a very busy shot here. But I hope you don't mind me saying, this is an example of there's too much going on. Now both of these shots have both got about the same amount of so much going on, and yet one works kind of well and the other one is a little bit confusing and we don't know where to look. It's good in the fact that you've got that purple piece of electronics, transistor, whatever it may be, and that kind of does draw the eye, but it's a little bit confusing. What am I talking about? Both of those shots are confusing, but nonetheless, one of them works really well, and one of them I just find is a little difficult to look at. Please don't take offense, Tony. I'm not saying it's bad, and I'm absolutely congratulating you on giving it a go, because there's some lovely light going on in there too. Look at the cables. It's just somehow this one doesn't quite bring it together, and this one does. And I think it's because of the different levels in this one that Nick knocked out. But great effort, Tony, and I hope what I've just said maybe helps. Possibly you could have isolated something a little more. Maybe a little more side light might have just helped it a bit. A few people are saying, do you think it'd work in black and white? Maybe. I don't know. I still think it's a little busy. And I know that's such a contradiction. But this is the reason I put these together is I want you to see, guys, look, there aren't any rules. Sometimes these things work, sometimes they don't. The key is you try them out and you're not afraid to show that you've tried them out. So good on you, Tony, for being here and giving it a lash. You know, give it another go, try it again, put some more up here. Hayley Moody, I like this in many ways because again, it's completely bonkers. You were lying on your back looking up at the bottom of the t-shirts and things in a wardrobe, weren't you? And I do like the squiggly, wiggly shapes. It's a great idea. It's a bonkers point of view on something we all see every day, but we see it from a different angle. We see it as clothes hanging up, not from the bottom. Good on you. I quite like the light. My slight problem is the space on the left a little bit. I'm not sure. I think it detracts somehow. We can sort of see something going on in the corner. Maybe if you could have filled the frame with the shapes a bit more, possibly move the t-shirts around a little so that the yellow, which is the strongest part, was maybe closer to the middle. Swap the yellow and the black one around. I know you'd have to rush them up or whatever you call it and get it working. But I needed to just say, great thinking in looking at such an ordinary everyday object with such a peculiar bonkers angle. Ed's just saying it'd be brilliant if it was just shirts. Maybe, I don't know. But congratulations on giving it a go. I think putting the yellow and the black other way around. Maybe if there was something kind of loud, something happening on the wall, you could have introduced maybe a highlight. This is, I'm thinking off the top of my head, highlight coming across the wall back towards the wardrobe for the shirt. I don't know. I'm guessing you played with this for a long time, and good on you for doing it. What else have we got here? Let's have a look. Oh, this is another one. I'm giving you guys that are pretty good at this a kicking tonight, aren't I? A drubbing. Caroline. How can anyone not like that? I really, really like it. I really do. I love the lines, and I guess they're highlights. It's something coming through a blind or a window. I'm not quite sure. And the use of that pitch you've got of the two zebras, the monochromatic nature and the man-made line compared to the natural line, and love the angle you've shot it on. It's a bonkers angle. Absolutely awesome. Great job, Caroline. My issue is the way that the diamond is touching the edge of the shot, the right hand vertical. I think if it had a little bit more space to the right, I think it'd be good. I love it, the fact it's close, but I just think it needed a little bit more space to the right. Maybe a little bit more of those lines on the left, if you could do it. I don't know what's there, you know, there might be something there in the way that would totally distract. But that's all, it's just a slight compositional thing. Such a creative idea, such great seeing. Photography is about seeing the shot. I have so many people say, my problem is I never see a photo. I don't know what to take a picture of. I don't see things. This is how you do it, and that's what I'm realizing PLD has become. That's what this is about. It's about seeing the world differently, which is what I have been about for years, helping people see the world differently, see more beauty in the world by thinking like photographers. Again, I'm going to talk about Esdras Suarez. He, you know, photojournalist, he has to move very, very fast in some very trying situations. He very rarely has time to think. And because he has done it over and over and over again for such a long time, he said, I know what the shot will look like before I get there. So he will see something happening over here and he's running to get the shot. And in his head, he already knows where he needs to be, at what angle to make the shot that he has seen in his head, that somehow, and it's become instinctive. It takes practice. And this is how you practice everything we're doing in PLD. And it is such a pleasure and a privilege to be involved in it. Great shot, Caroline. Awesome shot. I'm being hard on you because you're worth it. Anne Ashburn, I like your shapes here, and I like the way you've used a window, and I like the way you've turned it on its side. I think you said it's a kettle or something. I do remember reading it. Angular handle on the windowsill. Okay. You're laying on the floor. Good for you. It's a unique, bonkers way to look at this. And I do like it. What is it? Is it a door handle? I'm still struggling with it. I think it is. I was beginning to think if it's a kettle or something. Could we move that so we had more of a silhouette shape against the light? But the more I look at it, I think it's something that's attached to the window. I'm not sure what it is. To me, that's all it needed. I want to see a little bit of light around the edge. Forgive me if I'm saying something wrong. Tall jug. Is it a tall jug? I think it is. But it looks to me as though it's attached to the window frame. Is it part of the handle? I don't know. If it is a tall jug with a trendy sort of a handle thing on it, it'd be great if it was framed within the square of light. Then I think it would absolutely nail it. So it's a jug, it's a jug, it's a jug. Lots of people are saying it's a jug. You see, I'm a boy. I live in a shed full of old motorbikes, bits of engine. And I'm not very good with domestic things. But awesome shot, Anne. Awesome shot. I'm just thinking if it was framed completely by the bright area, remember our eyes go to the bright area of a shot, and the bright area could then be used to highlight the subject, that amazing, interesting, crazy shape. I like the way you've used the corner of the cupboard, the light, which is making that corner so cornerish. Good job, good job. Beautiful blues too, by the way. Where are we going now? Oh, I like this one. It's kind of bonkers. Rob Foylan. Tell me, guys, what do you feel when you look at this? Just tell me, what do you feel? What does it do for you? What initial, like, oh, what's your initial thought? I know what mine is, and I don't want to give you any clues. Great colours, great idea, great fun, but what do you feel? What does it make you think? I'm just watching. We got happy. We got lots coming in. Yeah. Okay, cool. This is funny. Silly in a good way. Yeah, invasion of the duckies, quackers, etc. Warm. Okay, actually, I'm in a minority looking at what you're saying. I just look at it and go, whoa, that's kind of scary. In a clown sort of a way, you know. There's something, to me, sinister about these ducks looking at me in that way, out of the dark. I love the way you've got them lit. Do they have little lights in them? Are they light up duckies or something? It looks to me as though they are. Zombie ducks. Great fun. Really great fun. Are there lots of these zombie ducks or something? I'm pretty sure this is one shot. I don't think this is a Photoshoppy thing. I don't know how you've done it. It's creepy and it's fun. I don't know what else to say. In this case, I'm going to talk about framing. I'm going to say the gap, top and bottom. Maybe if they were about the same, the whole shot just sort of tilted down a tiny bit. But it is good. It is good. You're still putting in stuff here. Doctor Who with aliens, you're going to drown, says James Thompson. Great effort, Rob. Oh, what have we got here? Okay, we have got... This is another one which I felt had a lot of potential, Michael. And again, congratulations, you're getting on the floor. You're trying something completely different. You are looking at something in a very different way. Of course, I've got a but. I like your symmetry. I like the way you've kind of got it very central. But it's like the camera could have moved just a tiny bit to the right, and then I think it might have worked a little better. The other thing is, I think maybe a little more space, because you've got all these weird sort of shapes with the little lights on the end. But it looks to me, I don't know, if you're watching, please tell me, Michael. It looks as though it was lit with a flash. Even though I can't see a reflection of the flash, it's kind of strange light. I don't know what it is, those patterns. The shadows, sorry, on the wall. I just can't help thinking if the light was switched on and those little bits on the end were lit up, and maybe we had a little bit more space around it, it just might be that bit more interesting. But it's a great effort, and I like the way you've kind of looked at it. Yeah, Glyn was just saying, might help if the ceiling was more white, and I'm thinking it possibly is a white ceiling. It's a colour cast issue, a white balance issue, something like that, or maybe the colour of the light that is going up there. I'm just watching to see if you're watching, Michael, whether you left a comment. But nonetheless, good effort. I like the way you have given it a go like that. Another thing here, which I find completely intriguing, this is a totally bonkers way of looking at something. And congratulations on that, Steve. I looked at it for a long time before I, realised sort of what it was, but also I was trying not to look at your little picture of how you did it. But I did look at it for a while without paying too much attention. Really well spotted. This really is seeing more beauty in the world, and that's what I love, and that's what this is about. You have found some beauty in the rail of a stair lift, You've spotted the light. The thing to me which makes this is the light curling around the rail. It's the shape of that rail, that grey rail. I love how you've positioned it in the frame, the way it's running not at a perfect sort of triangle, but do you know what I mean? The way it's running out across the corner, that beautiful light. And then there's that blue underneath. And all those sawtooth triangles going up there. Great abstract. How could it be improved? I'm not sure. I don't think I can help you with that. I think you've taken it probably as far as this can go. But I absolutely want to acknowledge the way you have found some beauty in a place where few would look and find it and discover it. And that just makes me tingle. That's what this is about. That to me is what photography is. Anyway, great job. Great job. Well done, Steve. So we have now come up to, I think it's fairly long, even though I've cut it down quite a lot, my shortlist shout-outs. Guys, if you've got any questions along the way, by the way, put them together. We will do a Q&A on the end. I know I'm asking you things along the way, but please, if you've got any questions, pop them in. Emma will harvest them, or, you know, save them up till the end. Now we've got YouTube responding quickly. So these are this week's shortlist shout-outs, and these guys deserve a smooth transition because I just was blown away by them. If you're new here, you're not sure what I'm talking about, my shortlist shout-outs, I choose all the pictures I think there's something to say, something that will give you some value in hearing some words spoken about them. I choose the ones which just provoke a reaction and I think, yeah, there's something here, and I put them in a folder which I just call the winners. I then have to kill my children. I then have to look in that folder of winners thinking, okay, I can only have 6 in this folder, and right now I got 20, and I've got to start trying to thin them out, and then I have to thin them again into ones that I want to talk about, which you guys are the ones that were absolutely on my list of, ooh, this should be a winner. My shortlist shout-outs, and first of all I want to talk about this one by Angie Jones. I just really like it. I just think it is so creative. There's something, I don't know what it is. I just like the ghostiness of the movement. Is there a bit of zoom blur you've done here? The light on it, the shapes, the textures. It's just, I really, really like it. It is bonkers. It's a kind of bonkers way of looking at your kitchen utensils. And I just needed to give you a shout out on that one. Nice shot, Angie. And I think it works so well in black and white. It's different. It stops. It makes you stop. It makes you think. Really, really interesting shot. I'm just looking to see what people are saying. You were just twisting the camera a bit. Okay, a bit of intentional camera movement. You've got that perfect. Because where part of it is sharp, too much movement, and it would have blurred it out. You've got that perfect. Absolutely brilliant. She saw things differently, absolutely. Doctor Who, yeah, Delarice, I agree. I get a Doctor Who feeling from this one too. Great shot, great shot. It absolutely stopped me when I looked at it. Another one here, which just caught my attention immediately, even when viewing it small. Lucy, I hope you're with us tonight. It's the light and the textures and the shape. What is it? Are they shirts? I think they are. Something like that. I quite like the way you haven't said anything about it as well, Lucy. Are they shirts? What are they? But the light is just great. Those textures and ripples and curves of that fabric. What is it? I don't know. If you're watching, Lucy, I'd love to know. It's a lamp. Looking at it from below. I wouldn't have got that at all. I absolutely wouldn't have got it. Does anyone else see that? Does anyone else get the lamp? Oh, bonsoir, Lucy. Ça va? I hope you're okay. Lucy's a veteran of many workshops, so I just had to say hello. And of course, she is French. Bed sheets, lovely textures. Yeah, it looks like no one else got the lamp thing, but really creative. I love that, Lucy. Well, you are creative. I know what you do. I've seen lots of it. I love it. It's the light, guys. Those of you who may be thinking, so why is it interesting? It's just kind of like fabric. It's the bottom of a lamp or something. It's the textures. This is light qualities. Qualities of light. Quality is not quantity. Quantity means there might be a lot, but it might be not great quality for the shot. These qualities are beautiful. It's the textures and the shadows are being brought about by the quality of the light. And it's not the light from within the lamp. I think, Lucy, you've got light from daylight, something skimming across the bottom of it. There are two different things going on here. We've got the light, the yellow light from the tungsten bulb, but we've also got other light, which I'm guessing is daylight. I've got a bonsoir back, which is really nice. Jules says the French have weird lamps. The French have weird lots of things. That's why I love the place. Anyway, whatever. Great job, Lucy. Moving on to another very minimalist shot and a very bonkers view of something. And I just love it. What do you get, guys, when you look at this? What do you get? Where are you? What do you see? I love the way you've made a story out of this, Simon. I really do. I really do. What do you see, guys? What do you get? What are we watching? What do you hear in your head? What is that music that's playing? I'm also intrigued. Simon John, I know a Simon John from a long time back. And I just wondered if you're that Simon John from days of the MPA or something like that as a photographer. Anyway, I'm just intrigued. If you're watching, Simon, I'd love to know. Windsurfer, okay, cool, got it. And this is really cool. Look, you see how everybody's seeing something different? We're getting the sound of the ocean, a windsurfer, lots of jaws, I get it. Yeah, I get da-da, da-da, dun, 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 dun. We're going to need a bigger chopping board. No worries, Simon, good to meet you, thank you. I just wondered. Beautifully done. We've got a shark in the ocean. Awesome. And I think you're using a bread knife and a pointy knife, and it works. Simple, easy, bonkers point of view on something we see every day, and you have made a story out of it, and it was great. It is great. It really is. I love it. Congratulations. Top job, Simon. And this one here I like so much as well. This why you're in my shortlist shout outs, Craig. A bonkers point of view of something, you know, you're sealing. And it's just great. It's perfect. I love the way you caught the pans on your, you know, I don't know what you call those things that you hang pans on. Beautifully done. I like the way, again, you've broken the rules where I'm saying to people, you know, oh, give it a bit more space, like that gorgeous shot with the zebra. Where is it? I'd like to bring it back. Here it is. Like this. So like earlier I was saying, Caroline, give us a little bit more space where the corner's touching the edge. And I'm not saying you're wrong for touching the edge. I don't know why, I just feel it could do with not touching the edge. And yet this time I'm utterly contradicting myself, aren't I? And saying having those pans on the edge somehow works. It disrupts a symmetry in a great way. The fan, you've got your shutter speed just perfect. You've worked this through. Your shutter speed has been your primary control here. You needed the shutter speed just right to capture the blur on the fan, just that much. And it is the perfect amount. Any more would be too much, any less wouldn't be enough. Perfect amount. The fact you've got the lights inside the fan, drawing us in, the brightest part of the picture, we go straight to it, out into that fan. And then we notice this bonkers thing with your pans hanging there and those gorgeous reflections and that little shadow on the ceiling and that the bluey colour, the symmetry which is disrupted perfectly, particularly by that pan on the right, hanging on the right. Very, very, very creative way of seeing, Craig. I love it. Interesting. One or two people saying it might be great without the pans. Possibly. I'm disruptive. I was the kid at the back who was always disrupting things. Still am, aren't I? But yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Sorry, Silent Crew, live feed's gone fuzzy. According to this, it's streaming okay. Nothing I can do. I'm sorry about that, guys, when these things happen. This, I think, was such a bonkers point of view as well. Leslie Maguire. First rays of light each morning catch the vases on my kitchen windowsill with my cuttings, which will propagate in growing things. Again, I love it. You've looked at something in a completely bonkers way. So you take these little cuttings, you put them in your fluid, and they start to create roots and things so you can plant them out. I think it's it's otherworldly. There's something mystical and otherworldly about this. I really, really like it. I really do. The highlight, we go to the brightest part, I know. And again, there's all these contradictions, aren't there? Because there aren't any rules. It's like we go to the brightest part, but somehow that brightest part belongs there purely because it is backlighting those roots. And that's why it works. It's almost like the roots are being backlit by that highlight. And that's why it works. I know it's such a difficult thing to get your head around. It's not something you can necessarily think through. It's just something you can see, and then it grows as an instinct. I really love it, and I like that little shape, that little, I don't know, blade of grassy sort of a shape. I don't know what it is, Leslie, if you're watching. I'd love to know, but it is just otherworldly, mystical, and beautiful. Congratulations on a really great shot. This one by Ruth, completely different take, but again, it's just kind of bonkers, isn't it? It really is bonkers. You did go Salvador Dali. You spotted something bonkers within your home, and you've executed this very, very well. And that's why I had it in my shortlist, and I did come back to it lots of time. Is it a self-portrait? I don't know. I'm not going to read it because it'll take too long and you'll get bored. You'll all fall asleep. Very brave shot to do if it's a self-portrait, and it's such good fun. I just like it. I just do. I like little things about it that are disruptive too. You know, the way those little windows are open at slightly different amounts. And I know I've been talking about get them all the same. This week is kind of about bonkers, isn't it? It's about all those things that are disruptive. It is bonkers. Photography is bonkers because there aren't any rules. There are no rules to this. And yeah, that is a very tricky and very difficult sort of a thing to get your head around. Great shot, and that's why I had to give you a shout out. And here is another, which is again kind of busy. It's bonkers, and it works. Evelyn, such a simple, beautiful, interesting, funny idea. And the way you've used the lenses of the glasses to focus what's going on in the background. Mind the gap. I'd almost like to see a bit more of the mind the gap part actually, but nonetheless, it is a really creative thing. And because the glasses are such a fine frame, it's almost like, whoa, there's these two round bits of sharpness added. Oh, it's glasses, and it's intriguing. I like the shapes, the way you've got things sort of laid out, the way the curves are. I do really, really love it. It's a great shot, Evelyn. A great shot. Congratulations on doing it. And here we have another which just got me. Manesh. It's just great. Intentional camera movement, and you were doing it with the moon. That's how I read it, because I looked at this and went, what is it? How has he done this? What is that? Reading what you're saying, I think you were out at night and you had your shutter open for a long time and you were moving the camera and letting the moon wander around in your frame. What a wonderful bonkers way of looking at the moon. I just really think it's bonkers. I don't know what anyone else thinks, but beautifully done. A really beautiful abstract. And so interesting. I don't know if you're watching Manesh, but if that's how you did it, I really love it. I think it's completely different. Another bonkers view and a very well executed thing of something we all see so often. I like this one, Karen. It's just beautifully executed. It's bonkers. It's a different way of seeing things. Love the way you used the space, simplicity of colors, yellow and white. That's all there is. Simple often works well. I know I kind of like a graphic image, but it's just really beautifully executed. You've got the hanger rail in exactly the right place. We've got the shape, the triangle. We're looking straight down that little circle. It's almost a spiral, and then that dot in just the right place. It's like on an old TV set when you switched them off and it went boo, dot. I just think it's really well done. And the shadows, the light, you've got great light on there, and the shadows just disrupt it enough. To me, I love it. Those are the reasons I love it. Doesn't mean my reasons are right. And by all means, guys, you know, I know you discuss these things when you chat in the group. Another bonkers way of seeing something. I like this one, Carl. I like this one such a lot. A piece of cut chain. Really nicely done. Really nicely done. Just seeing it in close, the way the light is coming around the metal, the incredible shallowness of depth of field. I guess you probably shot this with a macro or something. I don't know. It's a very close up of is it a broken chain link, a snap chain link, or a cut chain link? It looks to me like it might have been cut with a torch or something. But whatever. I love the simplicity of the background, that faded soft background of yellow and blue. Yellow and blue, opposite colours, best mates. I like the light coming around. It makes me think of evening time. It makes me think of those bridges, actually, where, you know, lovers put their padlock. You know, they put their intertwined padlocks and they click it onto the bridge. They're all over the world, these places. And it somehow makes me think of that. Almost like, I don't know, maybe it's a broken relationship, I don't know, but it's kind of like there's something about it, there's a warmth to it, there's a I don't know, there's something to it. I really like it. I think it's an intriguing image. A few people are saying they've lost their visuals. According to this, I'm streaming okay. I haven't had any messages from M. M would tell me if it had stopped working. Others are saying it's working. Good. Now, I'm afraid we are going to talk again about someone who I keep finding in this place, and I speak to her often. Thank you, Em. I speak about her often, and this is our friend Chari. And I know I talk about her a lot, and I actually had a chat with Chari's mum earlier this week about that, because why do I talk about her a lot? It's because I think it's so important for you guys to pick up on your courage, Chari, in not to be afraid. This is something that when you grow up, when you get older, these things, somehow we get a bit scared to get things wrong and not to try stuff. And you've got that. Hang on to it for the rest of your life. Please hang on to that childlike quality. I'm a big kid, I can do it a bit. You're doing it to an extraordinary level. And I know I talk about you often, because you as a child can still do things a lot of adults can't. And I want us grown-ups to recognize that, because you've got a great shot. You've seen something with beautiful shapes. You've looked at it from a slightly different angle, and you've got some great colors. And guys, please, all of you who've been laying on the floor, looking at the fan, laying on the floor, looking at a jug on the corner and shooting the edge of something, doing stuff like that, this is it. This is the key. So, you know, I just needed to have one more shout out towards Chari. Now, Chari, if I don't talk about your pictures moving forward, please don't think that they're not good enough or that I'm ignoring you. I'm not. I hope through your mum we stay in touch into the future. I'd love to see where you go with these things, but I can't keep giving you an extraordinary number of shout outs. So I want to say thank you for everything you're doing. Please keep entering. I love to watch, but I can't shout out about you all the time. And I forgot to show everybody, this is Chari taking that picture. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? So well done, Chari. Well done. And I look forward to seeing more of your entries in the future. We now come to the runners-up. You guys are in the points. You guys are the ones that were left after I had to cull things down a bit. And first off, I just thought this was bonkers and fun. Steve Ashton, congratulations. You won a place on one of our webinars. Emerald, get in touch. I just love the way you use that mirror. I just like the way you used the Betty Boop doll and the way you positioned it. You've got some great light going on there. I don't know if it came from a window or something like that, but the light is perfect for the expression, the way you've composed it. the way you've got her pretty strong in the foreground frame, and the way you've just kind of cropped it just below her little mini dress there, and the way she then continues off into forever through those opposing mirrors. Very well done. It is bonkers. It's a bonkers way of looking at something that you've got in your home, and I love it, and it's really, really well executed. Great stuff. We've got a slightly spooky one here. Congratulations, Hector. Because it's another lamp shot looking up at the ceiling, and it looks initially like, oh, it's out of focus, but it isn't, is it? Because we've got that circle of sharpness, very, very minimalist. The reason it looks out of focus is because of that frosted glass, which has got the lights inside it. I like those little shadows coming out, and it's that combination of sharp ring and the softness. You've executed it really, really well. You've got the exposure bang on, which is a tricky thing to do, and sometimes with these you can overcook it or undercook it. But I love that ring of sharpness and the ring of softness, because originally I just went, I've got to look at it again, because is that sharp? And then I went, oh, I see. Great way of being bonkers and looking at your home in a very different way. I think it's great. We have liftoff, said Simon John. Absolutely. This one is a very different connotation on Mad World and Bonkers, but I nonetheless really liked it. I thought it was very powerful, Teresa. It's of a very different feeling and a very different, if you like, emotional temperature to most of the things we've looked at. But I also think it's very, very well executed. And it's about not going bonkers. And I think in a way it's an appropriate way to close old photography lockdown, because we're now going to be embracing the new very soon. You know, and you guys have come through a bonkers time, and I think, Teresa, you've done a great job. I like the light on the back of the blouse. It kind of adds to the emotional intensity of sort of like whatever it is. Now, whether it's the bonkersness of lockdown, whether it's the bonkersness of just the world in general, it is a strong image. Very well executed, shooting straight into that window light. You've been unafraid to let it burn out and go bright. We go to the brightest bit, but that then takes us to this slightly dark and moody person who's hanging on to their hair by their fingertips. You've got those verticals nice and straight. Really well executed, Tracy. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you on whichever webinar you choose to come and join in with. Another very different take on bonkers and looking at the world differently. Jake, I so like this. It's the light, that beautiful, beautiful light. How often, guys, have we sat in a chair with a mobile phone on our lap while we're watching the telly or drinking tea or something and just ignored it? And yet I think because of the light and just spotting this bonkers little idea and that reflection in the phone, it is, without seeing it, it's just, I get someone sitting in their chair, they're slumped in the chair, they're having a cup of tea. To me, I feel like you're looking out into the garden or something. I don't know. But I really like this shot. I really do. I think it's great. Beautifully done, well spotted, lovely light, creating those textures. Bit of slipper going on there, but it's the reflection in the phone that grabs us first. I do really, really like that one. Congratulations. I look forward to seeing you on your webinar. And Nancy, oh, I struggled with this one. In and out of that winners. In and out, winner, not winner, winner, not winner. Nancy, I love this. A very different way of looking at something so household and ordinary, you know? Being able to see the steam coming out of that iron, you've backlit that just right. You've got some gorgeous tones. The contrast is just perfect. Absolutely fits it. It's a slightly bonkers way of looking at a very ordinary thing. You've made that very ordinary thing very artistic and creative. I really love this. I really do. What can I say? Beautiful backlight, light on the fingers, the contrast, the exposure, the steam. Really well done. And I look forward to seeing you on a webinar. We've got a new one coming soon. Anyway, and finally, this week's Photography Lockdown PLD Bonkers winner is, I had to go with this one, I'm afraid, Nick. feather. I just love it. Congratulations, Nick. It's just such a joyful picture. It's making me emotional looking at it. It's just such a joyful picture. That expression, the light, you've done all the technical things great. You got the light just right. You got all that stuff. But it's just, to me, it is bonkers. And it's this little child's wonder at all that bonkers going on around her. It is such a gorgeous thing. Looking at those as well, initially I thought you'd photoshopped it. I don't think you have. I could be wrong. I think you were bouncing balls off the floor. And is it your daughter? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. But the way she is such delight at these balls, and the shutter speed is just right because it's just got the right amount of movement. You've captured some in the air, some are moving. If you Photoshop that, you did it very, very, very well indeed. I don't think you did. I could be wrong. Beautifully done shot. I just can stare at this for ages because it just gives me, I don't know, it gives me goosebumps. It's such an emotional picture, such a joyous, happy picture. I just love it. I just love it. And I think maybe it's kind of like, I kind of want to go back to that childhood thing where just seeing some coloured balls in the air just made me happy. You know, it's really cool. Lots of things make me happy, by the way. I'm not unhappy. Great job. Great job. You guys have all done some amazing stuff on what was to be the very last photography locked down. And of course now it isn't the very last photography locked down. We are moving forward, and very shortly we'll be putting out the next new look PLD challenge. So after talking to the group, and we were looking at, you know, do we change the name, do we not change the name? The majority of people said, oh, let's just leave it. So let's just change its meaning. We're going to lock down creativity. You guys, we're going to nail creativity. This is seeing the world differently, seeing more beauty in the world by thinking like a photographer. There's only a handful of controls on a camera that you need to master. Many of you, and I thank you, have bought my Ultimate Beginner's course. Anything you need to do with the camera is in there. You don't need anything else. All the camera related stuff, all the how to compose. When you think, what is composition? It's physics. It's just tilting and angles. That's all it is. Light is much the same. It's recognizing and seeing where is a shadow, where isn't a shadow. Does it look great with a shadow or a soft shadow or no shadow, or the light coming this way or going the other way? That is all it is. Those are the nuts and bolts of photography. The next part is what we're doing here, and that is the creative use of those things. How do we bring them together? A lot of it is practice, and I'm so enjoying coaching you guys through this. So now it is creativity. We're going to lock down photography. This is photography locked down, nailed, in the bin, and we're having a blast doing it. So that's how it is moving forward. As you know, to make this work, we need some small regular donations. I'm going to need that because I know you possibly think, you know, well, hang on a minute, Mike, you must be earning a fortune. What you're not seeing is the cost of running the business. There are websites, there are Emma's Wages, Kenda's, and all the other people who techie things. There's Lucy, there's Mike McDonald, there's all sorts of people doing things. Many of them are freelancers. There is more to it than me just sitting here doing this. Anyway, guys, absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited. We're moving into the next phase. From now on, images will be uploaded into a designated album. We're going to make an album on the Facebook group for that week's winners. Please do not post pictures to that album. Next week's, I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you will see the hashtag moving forward, okay? We will make an album with that hashtag for that week's entries. When you post a picture into the album, please still use the hashtag as we have been doing. Because in case something goes in there by mistake, if we see a picture without that week's hashtag, we know to say, are you entering this? Or this doesn't, you know, whatever. You don't have to do it in your own home anymore. You can go out and about. Makes my life actually a lot harder to make the challenge videos. There was so many things went wrong trying to make the one that's coming up. You wouldn't believe it. We had little gusts of wind, we had dogs running around, and it took ages. I thought it would take about half an hour. Anyway, it's going to be such good fun. I am so looking forward to doing this moving forward with you. I'm loving the ideas that you're posting into the group, and I'm really considering a lot of them. We can't do everything all at once. And our next phase is looking at, lots of you have said about, a small, intimate feedback group, and we're looking at that next. But this will continue as we have tonight. It's now going to weekly. You've got longer this time because we're posting this challenge now, but you don't have to be finished on Thursday. This one is going to finish at this time next week. It's going to finish on Sunday night. I will do the judging on the Monday, and then we will meet on the Thursday. I think we got 2 weeks. I can't remember. Sorry, guys. It's on the video. It's all on the video that's coming up. It's all on the challenge page, which you're going to see. So, where can we see the next video, please? And you will see it. It's in the group, and it's on my YouTube. It's going to go live very, very soon. Does anybody have any questions about what we've just talked about? It's 8:30 here in the sunny UK. Do we need to sign up again? No, everything is staying the same. You're within the group. It's done. That's fine. Maybe 13 out of 13. Not sure what you mean, Glyn. Sorry. What time are your Thursday broadcasts? 7 p.m. It's all, again, go to the photography lockdown page on my website, because everything is there. That's all you need to do. Go to that page. If you leave your email address there, then I will send you reminders and notifications about challenges and all the rest of it. About the donations, can they only be done by credit card? No, you can use PayPal or a credit card. Use whatever you like. Absolutely fine. Who asked me that? I'm sorry, it's moving so fast. Catrian. Yes, whatever. And thank you for asking. Yes, just go to the donate page of the website. There is a link below this live broadcast in the description on YouTube. Just click the link. Do we have to donate to enter? No, you don't. It is basically free. But there is a lot of work involved in doing this, and moving forward it might be a bit more work than I thought. To cover those costs, and they're not just costs, it's a time cost. So like, I want to do this, but it's going to take a load of time. Then I've got to stop doing something else. So yeah, you don't have to make a donation because not everyone can afford to, but all I'm asking for is the cost of a Starbucks a month, maybe a takeaway pizza a month, or a dinner and a pint. You can make a different amount if you wish. It's all on the website, on the donate page. Please have a look. Visa debit works for, oh sorry, I was reading someone else's answer. Yeah. Is there anything else? Any other questions? Anything you want to ask? They're going to be at 7 p.m. on Thursday nights. It's moving to 2 weekly. It'll be one every 2 weeks. That gives you 2 weekends, more time to get even more creative. Don't use that time to go crazy taking millions of shots. Use that to look at what you're doing and think about it and upload them to the album. Is there anything else? Tell us about your sister in modelling, please. Well reminded. Thank you. Yes, our fabulous daughter who put her face in there. Somebody said a comment saying, it must be hard work being a model. Absolutely. So Anna, when we were probably in our early 20s, she was a model, very good model, very successful model. She worked very hard at it. She worked with some big names. She was doing a shoot with some swimsuits, and it needed to be blue sky and water breaking around her and happy girl in a swimsuit in the water modeling all these different swimsuits. The problem was there wasn't a budget to go somewhere where you have blue sky, warm water and all the rest of it. They were doing it on Bournemouth Beach in February on a cold, frosty, blue sky morning. And so Anna was putting on her swimsuit, the hair's being done and made all splendid and all the rest, and then it's 1, 2, 3, go. She'd rush into the water, crouch down in this icy cold, freezing water. There was frost on the sand on the beach, and the wave would break around her and she'd be going, ha ha, isn't it so lovely? And then it'd be out the water, into the blankets, get off the swimsuit, drink hot soup, into the next outfit, dry the hair, sort it out, do it all again. She did it for 3 days. Models work hard, really hard, good models. Anyway, When we donate, will that continue on a monthly basis? Beverly, I do ask you to make a regular small monthly contribution. You can stop them at any time. If you choose the options that are there, go there and have a look, it'll tell you. But if you choose there and you choose the options, it's a small amount. Why do I ask you to make it a regular monthly thing? Because people with the best intentions will go, oh, I must do that tomorrow, I must do that tomorrow, and it trails off. Also, there is an element of, if you've got a bit of meat in the game, and we're only talking £10 or something like that, that's what, £2.50 a week. If you've got a little bit of meat in the game, you're going to be that little bit more committed to your own success at this. So there are reasons why I ask for that commitment, because we want to continue this. Also, it would just be a disaster if sort of like a bunch of people went, yeah, here we go. And I go, right, okay, I think we can make this work. And then everyone forgot to do it. You can stop at any time. When you do it, you'll get an email with a little login to your own little account within our thing. And you can go in there and you can stop it at any time. You can choose a different amount. Go and have a look at the page, please. Anything else we need to say? Okay, obviously people are asking, can we do it somewhere other than Facebook? No, we can't. Facebook gives us so much functionality. Where else could we go where we can post these things? You'll get notified. You can have long conversations with each other about stuff, where you can have a conversation, your phone will go ping, someone just answered to your comment. You can continue your conversation, on your phone, on your computer, anywhere. There is nowhere else we can get that level of functionality for no cost. Could we program it on our own website? Anything is possible. That would cost millions of pounds to program that, and it's just not possible. I get it, many people don't like Facebook. Sorry, that's where it is. Just get a Facebook account and join the group and don't do anything else. That's it. Just use it as a tool to go and do that. I didn't say I didn't like ice cream, George. I said I don't really eat it. I'm eating an ice cream. I don't remember that. Anyway, what else? Any other questions we've got here? I don't think we have. I think we're pretty much at the end. So we're moving on to the new phase, the photography lockdown. Out and about in the sunshine. Can we take pics outside of the home? Yes, Dave. Again, please guys, I know you're asking these questions. Go to the photography lockdown page of my website. It's been refreshed, it's been updated. Everything you need to know is on that page. There is a link below this video. Go to the photography lockdown web page on my website, photographycourses.biz/lockdown. Just go to photographycourses.biz. You will see in the menu lockdown. Go there. Everything you need to know is there. I can't answer all your questions individually. We'll be here all night. Anyway. So what else have we got? Will dollars work? Yes. Absolutely. Please go to the website. All the answers are there. It's an international thing. Yes. You're using a card or PayPal, it will convert it for you automatically. Just go there, it will work, okay? It works. Right, I'm going to say we need to kind of move on now and get the next challenge up. I want to say thank you very much indeed to all of you for being here, for being awesome, for putting in so much work and investment into your own creativity as well, investment in time and effort. Please don't lose momentum as we go back to work and things like that. It's really easy to forget our times of knowing, our times of brilliance. It's really easy to dismiss it and forget it, and yet we all have them. Don't ever forget what you have achieved in the last few weeks. All the times you've thought you've got to go somewhere special, some amazing location to practice your photography. You think, oh, I can't go out now, it's raining, it's not very nice, oh, I can't do it, oh, I can't, and we give up. Look what you've achieved in your own kitchen in the last few weeks. Don't ever forget that, and take that out into the world as we go into the next phase. I can't wait to see what you can do, seeing what you have created with shadows in the corner of the fridge and pictures from inside the tumble dryer and things like that. What are you going to do when you're let loose into the world? I just can't imagine. All of you, give it your best shot. Whether you are a complete beginner, you have never done this before, or whether you're someone who's been around it for a long time, just hold the lessons you have learned in the last few weeks and fly out there into the world. I am going to shut up because I'm getting too excited. Guys, you are fabulous. I'm going to say goodnight. The next challenge will go live on the lockdown page of the website in about 5 minutes time. I'm going to say please go straight there and look at it. Photography locked down. There is a link at the beginning of the video which is about to be posted. When it starts to play, you will see a little thing pop out. Click that, go to the page, go and find out what it's all about. The answers are there. Take care, my friends, and I so look forward to seeing what you do with the next challenge. Take care. Have a great